Hello, my friend. I am so glad you have found your way here tonight. The world outside can be loud, and the day may have been long. But here, in this quiet space we have created together, there is no rush, there is no noise, there is only the soft rhythm of your own breathing and the sound of my voice, guiding you toward rest. Before we begin our journey to the ancient East, I invite you to make yourself comfortable. Adjust your pillows, pull the blankets up to your chin, let your body sink deeper and deeper into the mattress. Take a slow, deep breath in through your nose, filling your lungs with cool, calming air. Holding it for just a moment, and then exhaling slowly through your mouth. Letting go of all the tension in your shoulders, your jaw, your hands. Do this again. In, gathering peace, and out, releasing the day. Tonight, we are traveling together across the oceans and back through the mists of time to the islands of Japan. We are going to a time before trains and neon lights, a time when spirits lived in the trees and magic flowed through the rivers. We will hear the legend of Momotaro, the Peach Boy. It is a story told to children in Japan for hundreds of years, usually whispered by grandmothers as the rain fell gently on the thatched roofs of old farmhouses. It is a story of nature, of friendship, and of restoring balance to the world. So, close your eyes. Let the darkness behind your eyelids become a canvas, and let us drift away to the land of the rising sun. To understand our story tonight, we must first place ourselves in the landscape of ancient Japan. Specifically, we find ourselves in the region now known as Okayama Prefecture, a land blessed with abundant sunshine, mild weather, and fertile soil. Imagine a landscape painted in shades of green and gold. Rice paddies stretch out like a patchwork quilt across the valley floor, reflecting the sky like thousands of tiny mirrors. In the distance, mountains rise up, covered in thick forests of cedar and pine, their peaks often shrouded in a soft, white mist that clings to the trees like a veil. In the old days, perhaps in the Edo period, or even earlier, during the Heian era, life here moved at the speed of the seasons. People lived in harmony with the rhythm of nature. They woke when the sun rose, painting the sky in apricot and violet. They worked the land with their hands, feeling the cool, damp earth between their fingers. And when the sun dipped below the horizon, the world became very, very quiet. There was no electricity to banish the night. There were only paper lanterns casting a warm, flickering glow, and the light of the moon. In this silence, the river was the heartbeat of the village. The rivers in Okayama are clear and cold, flowing down from the Chugoku Mountains. The water rushes over smooth grey stones, bubbling and singing a never-ending song. It was by these rivers that the women would gather to wash clothes, scrubbing the fabric against the rocks. The rhythmic swish, swish of the cloth mixing with the sound of the water. And it is here, in this fertile land, that the peach, the momo, holds a special significance. In Japanese culture, the peach is not just a fruit. It is a symbol of longevity, of renewal, and of protection. In ancient Taoist beliefs brought over from China, the wood of the peach tree was used to ward off dark spirits. The fruit itself was seen as a source of vitality, a gift from the gods. The spring season in Japan is famous for cherry blossoms. But the peach blossom, the Momo no Hana, is equally beautiful. It blooms in a vivid, deep pink, announcing that the cold winter is finally retreating and life is returning to the earth. Tonight's story is woven from these elements: the clear river water, the quiet strength of the mountains, and the mystical, protective power of the peach. It is a story that reminds us that sometimes the greatest strength comes in the smallest, most gentle packages. Just breathe. And imagine you are sitting on the bank of that river now. The air is cool. The smell of moss and wet stone is all around you. The water flows by, endlessly, effortlessly, carrying all your worries away. Downstream. Our story begins, as many good stories do, simply. Mukashi, Mukashi, long, long ago. In a small, quiet village, nestled between the mountains and the river, there lived an elderly couple. They were kind, hard-working people. The old man was a woodcutter. Every morning, he would hike up the winding mountain paths, his footsteps crunching softly on the fallen leaves. He would gather brushwood, listening to the call of the bush warbler bird. Hu hokekyo, hu hokekyo. The old woman was gentle and patient. She tended to their small garden, growing radishes and onions, and kept their humble wooden house clean and warm. Despite their hard work, they had one sorrow. They had no children. The house was quiet in the evenings, save for the crackling of the fire in the hearth. But they did not complain. They accepted their life with grace, finding joy in each other's company and in the beauty of the world around them. One summer day, the sun was warm and bright. The cicadas were buzzing their rhythmic song in the trees. Min, 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 min. The old man put on his straw hat and went to the mountains to cut grass. The old woman gathered her wooden tub and walked down to the river to wash their clothes. The river that day was sparkling. The water was cool and clear, flowing over the smooth stones. Sara, 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 went the sound of the stream. She found a comfortable spot on the bank, kneeling on the flat rocks. She dipped the clothes into the water, watching the ripples spread out, changing the reflection of the clouds. As she washed, she noticed something in the distance. Something was floating down the river. It was bobbing up and down in the current. Don burako. Don burako. That is the sound the Japanese say a heavy object makes as it tumbles in the water. Don burako. Don burako. It came closer. And closer. The old woman stopped her washing and squinted her eyes. It was a peach, but not just any peach. It was the largest peach she had ever seen. It was the size of a large melon, perfectly round, with skin the color of a sunset, blending soft pinks, deep crimsons, and golden yellows. The peach seemed to glow with a faint inner light, and as it drifted closer, a sweet, heavenly fragrance filled the air, sweeter than honey, fresher than the morning dew. My goodness, the old woman whispered to herself. What a magnificent fruit. It looks delicious. She reached out a stick and gently guided the giant peach to the bank. She lifted it out of the water. It was heavy, heavy with juice and promise. She placed it in her wooden tub, and with the spring in her step that she had not felt in years, she carried it home. When the old man returned from the mountains that evening, the sky was turning a deep indigo blue. He was tired, carrying a heavy bundle of wood on his back. "Welcome home," the old woman said, smiling. "Look what I found in the river today." She placed the giant peach on their low wooden table. In the dim light of the room, the peach seemed to radiate warmth. The old man was astonished. "I have never seen such a peach," he said softly. "Let us share it. It will revive our spirits." He took a knife and prepared to cut the fruit open. But just as the blade touched the soft, fuzzy skin of the peach split open all by itself. Poof! And from inside the peach, there was not a pit, but a baby, a healthy, beautiful, tiny baby boy. The old couple was speechless. They gasped in wonder. The baby looked up at them with bright, intelligent eyes and let out a healthy cry that filled the quiet house with life. They understood immediately that this child was a gift from the heavens, sent to them in their twilight years to bring some joy. They named him Momotaro, Momo meaning peach, and Taro, a common name for an eldest son. The Peach Boy. Time in the mountains flows like a river, steady and continuous. Momotaro grew up, and he grew up differently than other children. He ate a lot, and for every bowl of rice he ate, he seemed to grow stronger and taller than anyone else. But it was not just his strength that was remarkable, it was his heart. He was kind to the animals. He helped his elderly parents without being asked. He would carry the heaviest loads of wood for his father, and he would massage his mother's shoulders after a long day. By the time he was 15 years old, he stood tall and broad-shouldered, with hair as black as a raven's wing, and a spirit as clear as the river water that brought him. However, shadows had begun to fall over the land. Whispers travelled from village to village about the Oni, the ogres, who lived on a distant island called Onigashima. Now, in our story tonight, we need not fear these Oni. Think of them as storm clouds. They were chaotic. They came and took things that did not belong to them. They caused trouble and disrupted the peace of the land. They represented selfishness and greed. Momotaro saw the sadness in the villager's eyes. He saw the fear, and he knew, deep in his heart, that he had the strength to restore the balance. One evening, as the rain tapped gently against the paper screens of their house, Momotaro sat down with his parents. "Father, Mother," he said, his voice low and respectful, "you have raised me with love, but now I must go. I must travel to Onigashima, and I must convince the Oni to stop their bad ways. I must bring peace back to our land." The old couple was worried. They loved him dearly, but they looked into his eyes, and they saw a quiet determination that could not be shaken. They knew this was his destiny. "If you must go," the old woman said, brushing a tear from her cheek, "take this with you." She went to the kitchen. She took the finest millet flour, ground from the grain grown in their own field. She mixed it with water from the pure mountain spring. She rolled the dough between her warm hands. She made kibi dango, millet dumplings. These were no ordinary dumplings. They were filled with the love of a mother and the energy of the earth. It was said that one dumpling could give a person the strength of 100 men. She wrapped the dumplings in a bamboo leaf and tied it to Momotaro's belt. The old man gave him a sturdy staff and a banner that read, Nippon Ichi, #1 in Japan. And so, under the light of the morning sun, Momotaro bowed to his parents and began his journey. The path led him away from the village, through the emerald green rice fields and up into the misty mountains. Walk, walk, walk. The air grew cooler as he climbed. The smell of cedar and pine filled his lungs. Sunlight filtered through the canopy of leaves above, creating shafts of golden light that danced on the mossy path. As he walked, a large dog emerged from the tall grass. The dog growled low, unsure of the stranger. Momotaro, the dog barked. Where are you going? I am going to Onigashima, Momotaro replied gently, to restore peace. The dog sniffed the air. What is that sweet smell at your waist? These are the best millet dumplings in Japan, Momotaro said. My mother made them. If you give me one, the dog said, wagging his tail, I will come with you. I will be your loyal friend. Momotaro smiled. He opened the bamboo leaf, took out a soft, warm dumpling, and gave it to the dog. The dog ate it and felt a surge of courage and loyalty. And so, the boy and the dog walked on together. Higher up the mountain, where the trees were old and twisted, they heard a chattering sound. Kee, kee, kee. A monkey swung down from a branch. He was clever and quick. Momotaro, the monkey chattered. Where are you going? We are going to Onigashima, the boy said. Give me one of those famous dumplings, the monkey said, and I will lend you my wisdom. Momotaro handed a dumpling to the monkey. The monkey ate it, and his mind became sharp and focused. He joined the line, the dog and the monkey, who usually did not get along, found peace in each other's company. United by the dumplings and the boy's calm leadership. Finally, as they reached the high pass, a shadow swept over them. A pheasant, a beautiful bird with emerald feathers, flew down and landed on a rock. Ken Ken, the bird called. Take a dumpling, Momotaro offered, and lend us your bravery. We need eyes in the sky. The pheasant ate the dumpling, and now the party was complete. The strength of the boy, the loyalty of the dog, the wisdom of the monkey, and the bravery of the pheasant. Together, they marched down to the sea. They found a boat and set sail across the great ocean. The waves rocked the boat gently, up and down, up and down. The sea was vast and blue. The salt spray misted their faces. Finally, the dark silhouette of Onigashima appeared on the horizon. It was a rugged island with craggy black rocks and swirling grey clouds. A heavy iron gate blocked the entrance to the Onis fortress. But Momotaro did not attack with anger. He did not shout. The pheasant flew over the walls, distracting the guards. The monkey scrambled up the rocks, unlatching the heavy bolts of the gate. The dog rushed in, barking with the strength of a lion. And Momotaro walked forward, his staff in hand. The battle that followed was not one of blood, but of spirit. The Oni were powerful, giant beings with horns and tiger skin loincloths. But they were undisciplined. They fought for themselves. Momotaro and his friends fought as one. They moved like water, fluid and coordinated. When the Oni leader, a giant being with red skin, saw the determination in Momotaro's eyes and the loyalty of the animals, he realized he could not win. The power of the millet dumplings, the power of love and unity, was stronger than greed. The Oni leader fell to his knees. He wept. "We surrender," he said, his voice like cracking thunder. "We promise. We will never haunt the villages again. We will return the treasures we have taken." Momotaro accepted their surrender. He did not punish them further. He only asked for the return of peace. They loaded the boat with the treasures the Oni had hoarded: gold, silver, precious coral, and invisible cloaks. The journey home was joyous. The sea was calm, reflecting the orange and purple hues of the setting sun. When they arrived back at the village, the old man and the old woman were waiting by the river. They ran to meet their son, tears of happiness streaming down their faces. Momotaro gave the treasure to the village, helping everyone live comfortably. But the greatest treasure was that the family was together again. The dog, the monkey, and the pheasant stayed with them, and they all lived in that small house by the river, listening to the water, watching the seasons change in perfect peace and happiness for the rest of their days. And so, the legend of the Peach Boy comes to a close. It is a simple story, but like the river water, it runs deep. In Japan, this story is a reminder of balance. The Oni represented the chaotic forces of nature: storms, earthquakes, and bad luck. Momotaro represented the human spirit, nurtured by nature, the peach and the river, and sustained by the fruits of the earth, the millet dumplings. The animals were not just pets. They represented the virtues we all need to find peace within ourselves. The dog is chi, fidelity and loyalty. The monkey is jin, wisdom and intellect. The pheasant is yu, bravery and courage. When we combine wisdom, courage and loyalty, and when we are fueled by the love of those who care for us, there is no obstacle we cannot overcome. There is no demon of anxiety or fear that we cannot gently lay to rest, even today. If you travel to Okayama in Japan, you will see statues of Momotaro on the streets. You can buy kibidango, those sweet millet dumplings, in the shops. It is a memory that lives on in the hearts of the people. But tonight, the meaning for you is simply peace. It is the knowledge that you are protected, just as the old couple cared for the boy, just as the peach protected the baby. You are safe here, in your bed. You have faced your own mountains today. You have crossed your own oceans. And now, the battle is over. The gate is open. It is time to rest. The fire in the old farmhouse has burned down to soft, glowing embers. The only sound left is the gentle rhythm of the rain outside, falling on the thatched roof. Pitter, patter, pitter, patter. The river continues to flow, carrying the story out to the endless sea. Let your body feel heavy. Let your legs be heavy. Let your arms be heavy. Let your eyelids feel like they are made of soft, heavy velvet. There is nothing left to do. The past is a memory. The future is a dream. There is only this moment, this warm, quiet, safe moment. Imagine you are floating gently down that river, secure inside the peach, rocking slowly, don, buraco, drifting into the mist, drifting into silence. Sleep well, my friend. Oyasumi nasai. Good night.